Will be drifting eastward through the plains, giving us a risk of a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. So right now, got a few storms starting to develop. We've already had one severe thunderstorm warning between Trinidad and Raton. Raton is under a severe thunderstorm warning in New Mexico, so we'll watch for further increasing intensity with those storms. Now, Trinidad's actually also under a red flag warning this afternoon, and we also have our mountain zones under a red flag warning until 8 o'clock. So many of us are just hot and dry this afternoon, including Canyon City. You are under a red flag warning. It's 95 degrees, 7% humidity. Westerly winds are around 20 miles per hour. So we're going to watch this low humidity, and any lightning strikes do have the risk of starting a fire this afternoon. Dual weather threat. We have high fire danger, plus we also have a severe weather risk. Let's start with the severe weather risk. Severe thunderstorm watch has been issued in our area. It technically goes until midnight. However, I think the storms are going to leave our area by maybe 10 o'clock, and then they'll move into Kansas, where that would probably be a good time frame for the watch to expire. Our main hazards today would be 60 to 80 mile per hour wind gusts, 1 to 1 3/4 inch hailstones, and a weak tornado is possible as well. So where the storms are initiating right now is mostly over the Raton Mesa. We also do have a couple of storms that are forming in far northern Los Animas County. Storm motion is taking these eastward, so I'm going to really be watching Baca County here for the next couple of hours as these storms start to organize themselves and intensify, and likely we'll see a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings here shortly. So these storms drifting eastward, getting rather strong here through the evening hours. The rest of the region will remain dry, and then, like I mentioned, most of this activity is going to be out of here by 9-10 o'clock, and then we're in for a dry and mild evening across southern Colorado. So in La Junta, we have kind of the very differing conditions. You can see storms blowing up in the distance, but it's extremely dry, only 10% humidity, and it's 99 degrees, so it's really hot. So that's where the fire danger comes in. We have low humidity throughout our region, and so any of these storms could produce lightning. That could start a wildfire. We had that earlier this week at the Bear Fire. We have very low humidity values, especially along the Arkansas River, where we have red flag warnings in place for Fremont County and westward, plus for Walsenburg and Trinidad. Red flag warning this afternoon until 8. We have Pueblo County in a red flag warning for Saturday, but we're starting to gain humidity as we head through the weekend. Our temperatures right now, 70s, 80s, 90s. It's hot. Tonight will be to the 40s, 50s, and 60s. Tomorrow we're still hot, 80s and 90s, but then Sunday, a huge change. Highs will only be to the 60s and 70s, plus we've got a good chance of rain. So through that weekend forecast, on Saturday, most of us will just have some clouds in the afternoon, but a few isolated thunderstorms are possible late afternoon through the evening. But you're going to notice much bigger changes for Sunday. We'll start the day off with low clouds, some areas of drizzle and light rain. We'll have a bit of a break from late morning to about early afternoon, maybe 1-2 o'clock, and then check it out. Rain is going to be in place this evening for the southeastern corner of Colorado. We've already seen storms fire up, and the storms that form today could have a severe thunderstorm warning on them. For now, no active warnings, but these storms have really only gotten started in about the last hour, hour and a half. So it's going to take some time for them to mature and intensify. The storm motion is generally towards the east. They are moving fairly slow in a good environment, so I do expect them to still linger here and gain strength. So then you go further west. That's where we have the fire risk for the upper Arkansas River, the San Luis Valley, southern I-25. So Trinidad and central Los Animas County, you're actually under that dual threat. Over Raton Pass, we've already had hail this afternoon. It's 93 degrees right now in Canyon City, under a red flag warning, only 8% humidity, westerly winds around 18 miles per hour. So with any of these lightning strikes that we're seeing here now, it's so dry at the surface that we could have fires start, something to be mindful of tonight. Areas in which we're weather alert this afternoon. The first one would be the risk of severe thunderstorms. Second one is high fire danger out west. So let's start with that severe thunderstorm watch. We have it in place for the southeastern corner of Colorado. Technically, this expires at midnight. I think our threat here in Colorado will die down much sooner than that. Then the storms move into Kansas and they'll continue. Our main hazards with the storms today: strong wind gusting 60 to 80 miles per hour. Hailstones of about a quarter size to up to golf ball size, and a weak tornado is also possible. So where I'm watching the storms forming right now, they have not reached severe strength currently, but they are in a good environment, so they'll continue to strengthen as they slowly but surely progress eastward. So the storms right now are well south of Highway 50. They're moving off of the Raton Mesa region, really starting to cluster towards southeastern Los Animas County, northeastern Los Animas County, southern Bent County, and now starting to focus on Baca County for the rest of the evening. So these storms right now, they're just producing some really gusty wind, 55 mile per hour wind gusts, blowing dust, definitely a hazard with that. These storms, they'll slowly but surely continue their eastward projection into Kansas, and then once they do that, that's when our severe weather threat will really decrease here tonight. Between about 8 to 10 o'clock is when I anticipate that happening. Then across the region will be mostly clear overnight. So it's interesting to watch from La Junta. We've got the thunderstorms blowing up to the south, but meanwhile it is hot and dry in La Junta, 12% humidity, 97 degrees. So most of our region is just hot and dry today. There's some spots with single-digit humidity values like Canyon City, Salida, Colorado City. And here is our other threat today, the risk of wildfires. So Walsenburg, Trinidad, and Fremont County up the Arkansas River, the San Luis Valley, under a red flag warning until 8 o'clock tonight. Keep in mind, if any of those active storms produce lightning, they can start a grass fire, even if they're not in that red flag warning zone. On Saturday, we'll still have some red flag warnings, notably for Pueblo County, as we start the weekend still very warm. Today was toasty, a high of 99 in Pueblo, 87 here in Colorado Springs. Tonight we'll drop to the 40s, 50s, low 60s. Tomorrow, hot again to the 80s and 90s. Sunday, however, totally different. 60s and 70s for highs, and we'll see an increasing chance of rain. River and the San Luis Valley under a red flag warning until 8 o'clock. Any fires that start in those zones will spread extra fast. However, there is a risk of lightning starting wildfires this afternoon, where we have thunderstorms, and we have a severe thunderstorm watch for the zones highlighted here in pink. Technically, this watch expires at midnight. Our risk will weaken much quicker than that, because the main batch of storms I'm watching, once they clear out into Kansas, we're going to see much clearer conditions for the rest of the night. Some storms that are kind of on our county borders here, the north section is really starting to dwindle quickly. However, the southern section of thunderstorms is still starting to intensify. So Campo, this storm just to your west, is likely to produce nickel-sized hail, 50 to 55 mile per hour wind gusts. Of course, this is the spot where we have higher humidity. The rest of us just dry this afternoon and incredibly toasty with 80s and 90s for most of us currently. Alex, that are making us weather alert this afternoon. Number one is a severe thunderstorm watch that's in place. Number two is high fire danger with red flag warnings in effect. Let's start with that severe thunderstorm watch. It's in place technically until midnight, but I do think it'll expire a little earlier than that here in southeastern Colorado. Storms fired up earlier today near Trinidad. We had a severe thunderstorm roll over Raton Pass. Those storms have since started to push eastward, and once they move into Kansas, our severe weather threat will be done. I'm really going to be focusing on Baca County now, where these storms are moving into. The northern section of this thunderstorm activity is definitely weakening. Stronger section would be this southern zone. And in Campo, this thunderstorm is just sub-severe criteria with nickel-sized hail, 50 to 55 5-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And so this is the section of storms I'm going to be watching a little bit more closely versus the northern section. And this cluster of storms, as I mentioned, once it moves into Kansas, maybe as early as 8 o'clock, we're going to be generally done with the thunderstorm risk, and we're just going to have partly cloudy conditions here overnight. Now, the secondary aspect of our weather alert this afternoon is the rest of us are just hot and dry, and fire danger is high. So keep in mind that any of the lightning that's being produced from these thunderstorms has the potential to spark up a wildfire. Now, most of the region is not seeing that lightning activity, thank goodness, but please be mindful. If you are especially under one of these red flag warnings, do not create any sparks or flames outside, because any wildfires that start in these zones can spread very quickly. We've got this red flag warning until 8 o'clock this evening. We'll have another round of red flag warnings on Saturday, but it's pared back a bit. Pueblo County is included, as well as Chaffee County and up into the mountains. But that's about it. Gradually through the weekend, our humidity is going to be rising and temperatures will be falling. Pueblo, you had a high of 99 today. Haven't quite made it to 100 degrees yet this summer, but I think that chance is pretty close. 87 was our high in Colorado Springs today. Our temperatures tonight, 40s, 50s, low 60s, will be partly cloudy overnight, and on Saturday, still quite hot. 80s and 90s for most of the region. However, things definitely change by Sunday. 60s and 70s for highs, and we'll spend most of the day pretty cool and cloudy. So let's go through that weekend forecast. Saturday overall is going to be the hot, dry day of the weekend. Keep in mind we'll have an increase in clouds in the afternoon, and we'll have a few very isolated evening showers and thunderstorms. But then the surge of moisture really comes in Sunday. We'll start the day with areas of rain south of Highway 50 and in the eastern plains. We'll get a little bit of a break in precipitation by late morning to early afternoon before this surge of rain are going to be highly variable depending on the day. Now let's start with how today played out, because it's going to help us carry into tonight and tomorrow's forecast. It was generally hot, 80s, 90s, and triple digits here in the eastern side of Colorado. So now it's a very mild evening. We're taking our time to cool down. It's still 82 in Lamar and Pueblo tonight, the rest of us in the 60s and 70s. So it will be a fairly mild start to the day on Saturday with sunshine in the morning, 40s, 50s, and 60s. And Saturday is looking to be the hot day of the weekend, up to 86. But then we flip those numbers on Sunday, 68 for the high, and we'll have plenty of cloud cover and it'll be a lot cooler. So in Pueblo, 92 tomorrow, Sunday down to 73. There's thunderstorm chances both days. I'll highlight those in the Futurecast coming up. Temperatures tonight, we're going to drop to the 40s, 50s, and low 60s. It's definitely going to be a cool start to the day. It's going to be a generally dry day on Saturday. There's a low chance of an afternoon shower or storm, but for the most part, we're seeing sunshine and heat to start the weekend, with highs generally to the 80s and 90s. There's enough dry air and wind to prompt some red flag warnings, notably in Pueblo County, as well as the upper Arkansas River and portions of our mountains. For Pueblo, this will be in place 11 a.m. to 7 p.m., so please avoid any activities that could potentially start a fire, as it would spread quickly. Now, we do have a cold front that comes in tomorrow. It's not initially going to cool us down in the afternoon, but it is going to supply us with a little burst of wind, and slowly but surely it's going to be increasing our dew points, adding on to the moisture that's available as we progress through the weekend. And you're really going to notice that here as we progress. Sunday is going to become cloudy, wet, and a lot cooler. We're going to be to the 60s and 70s for highs on Sunday, and we'll see several rounds of rain possible. So going through the Futurecast tomorrow, it is sunny, generally dry. We'll have some afternoon clouds and maybe a few showers. The cold front passage may help to lift the atmosphere a bit and give us a few showers in the evening, but most of us will be dry Saturday. But then Saturday night into Sunday morning, we'll start to see some rain across the region. We'll start the day with cool, cloudy, rainy conditions, especially south of Highway 50, with a little bit of a break in the showers between late morning and early afternoon, before by about lunchtime, showers and storms spark up in the mountains and they move eastward towards I-25. This is when I'm more concerned about lightning threats as well as moderate to heavy rain, and you could see several rounds of showers and storms on Sunday evening through Sunday night. It's a big change.